The following material may contain sex, coarse language, and violence.
Of course! Of course!
They'll lead you there. They're obviously the largest, most impressive looking tent in the middle, made out of heavy black sheets.
Yeah.
One of the guards ducks inside. There's muffling. You are shown in. Inside is fabulous. There's like nice furniture and there's a big table with a map on it spread out with like little flags all over it. And there's a bunch of people gathered round it. And one of them turns as you enter and says, "Well, what do we have here? If it isn't the vaunted party of Sephiroth the Rat Paladin, liberator of our great Lord and Master Count Hector."
You're welcome.
Does he seem impressed with that or not?
Kind of pissed.
Yeah.
So I was like, you're welcome.
The gentleman is wearing fine velvets and has a severely pulled back ponytail. He's really pale. His teeth are pointier than normal. His eyes are red.
What is that?
My name is Baron Sang. Perhaps you have heard of me.
I have to be living under a rock not to have heard of you.
He seems very pleased with this.
Motherfucker costs 8 mana.
We have been sent here because of you.
Does Count Hector feel he owes me a favor or something?
Count Hector feels that a cold, winter-bitten south is not in the best interests of us.
Or of anybody.
So I have bought a few hand-picked soldiers and other noble fighters who will be able to assist this pitiful excuse for a frost watch in some night raids.
Of course.
You will make it clear that we do not operate in the daylight. To the boy.
Yes.
But you will not tell him why.
Of course.
It is a pleasure to do business with such a holy paladin of Thor.
Yes.
Would you be willing? I assume you all have your own strategies, but would you be willing to discuss strategy with the Nilfgaardians and the other mercenary bands?
I am always willing to discuss strategy. That is the only true way to know anyone.
But I take it you'll mostly be working independently at night on separate campaigns?
I would argue that fighting at night is the purest way to achieve absolute surprise over a conventional enemy. But frost giants, icemen, do they even sleep?
Well, you also have to keep in mind
Do
that
they
there are
even bleed?
undead and goblins amongst them who quite often function better at night than in the day.
Really? There are kinds of undead that function better at night. What surprising news!
Yes. I'm just saying. They're at their weakest during the day, so...
I recently heard of your unfortunate news. You have our commiserations for whatever it's worth.
What news?
Your father was the son of
yeah,
a great
that's-
man.
I know what you're talking about, that's enough.
Of course. If there's anything else we can do for such an esteemed person, please, don't hesitate to ask. We'll even set aside a small tent for your use if you want it. Just ask any of the guards to take you to the Fledermaus tent.
Thank you.
You may leave.
Of course. Thank you.
He doesn't have an appointment.
Just so you know, because you're obviously telling up the numbers in your own head for that.
To a degree, but I'm also negotiating.
Oh no,
so
you'd be telling it up anyway. Well, we could actually probably hire all of them. Honest truth. Well, because
What?
of the 1,000 platinum you gave us.
Yes, I gave you. You didn't earn it.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. 1,000 platinum for the 2 bands.
Yeah.
Cool. Lee's friend, obviously,
Yep.
feed him. It's easy enough. The elves, it works out to be 100 gold.
Okay. But we want to hire them for 10 days, like on most likelihood.
It was for 5 days, so you want to hire them for 10 days, so that's
Basically.
200.
Yeah.
That's still 200 gold.
I can afford that.
They're pretty damn cheap for what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just doing what the gold that I've got on my page.
Yeah.
So it's Seraphine's and the party fund. I haven't even touched the party fund.
Oh.
I mean, we did get a fair amount for that armor. I mean, it's the bulk of
That's it. So if you want to hire how many mages?
10.
Yeah, I mean,
10 would be nice, but they're probably the priciest a lot. I mean, they're damn good.
That's another
but
1,000 platinum, and we do have that much. We're gonna
Wait, how
afford-
much platinum is in the party fund?
It equates to sorry, we don't. Sorry, I was wrong. Yeah, it's 100 platinum, so we hire 1.
Okay.
Sorry,
It's gonna
I
suck,
looked at the wrong number.
Because
So yeah, we can hire 1 mage.
how much gold do we have in the party fund?
How much gold on the party fund
Yeah.
is, without all the coins that I've just got,
Yeah.
is 11,000.
Oh, okay. One will probably.
If,
platinum
it's as
so
good,
bad for you,
if one is as good as that guy was, I'm going to ask for Deflator Mouse tent and examine it.
Lee, the statue said you needed.
It counts as luxury accommodations.
The statue said you needed dragonbone daggers to
Anything
defeat the
of note in it?
Frostwalker.
A servant,
Do you have proper tools to?
a
them?
pale-skinned young woman.
Have half tool.
She's not a vampire,
Oh, okay.
just really white.
What you? I get tool. Need other half.
You've gone off, have you?
I went to look at the tent.
So we should probably get those made then, if you need them.
Adrian, did you find a Zhu for me?
I found her.
Blood.
She's right there, is she?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Zhu, there's some accommodations here. You would want to be comfortable and rest up. I suggest you use them.
Good, I've just finished telling Seraphine how to use her ring.
Oh,
You
good.
should be able to access the final area and get the last ring.
Spirit?
Willpower, more likely.
Right, so we want to use up the last 1,000 gold for the miscellaneous troops.
Yes, we definitely need to buy those.
Acceptable to the GM?
Have we,
It's entirely your decision.
have we got enough aside to pay for
Food?
yes,
Food,
the food
lodging.
and
Well-
everything for them all.
So no, we've got no lodging. There's no lodging here anyway.
Yes, but you can buy tents and things like that.
So
I have one tent.
We all have one tent.
Share with friend.
Well, the Norgardians rebuilt their town in less than 3 days. If we could bring them here,
And you think they could build accommodations for these? With at least temporary
there's like
structures?
literally like a whole army here. They can just chill out.
since we really hire them, we start building.
yeah.
probably wouldn't have to want to pay them to.
Well, we'd have to pay for materials and stuff. So I know, like you said, like beyond the wall, there's like no trees and shit. What about behind the wall?
No.
Basically, just further south.
Yeah.
Just like in this vicinity.
Oh, around here there is forested areas.
Ah,
We're
okay.
in one, remember?
There's no guard.
It was closer to
When,
North
when the Shatty Fickle did all your fucking work for you. And
Yeah.
So far, at least looking at the elves, one mage,
I've got one mage.
both of the red bands,
Both the red
crossbowmen
band.
and the pikemen.
Yep, and the 2 bands of elves for 10 days.
And then, of course,
What other forces were there? The Myrmidons.
Myrmidons are excellent, like soldiery troops. They're fantastic one-on-one fighters, one-on-group fighters. They work incredibly well as a team.
Yeah.
They're better in organized structures and do not do well as like fast-moving harassment troops. So it's like you would put them in with like a big
Yeah.
army.
You'd put them in to hold the line.
And how much of
Or
that?
you could divide them up and make them unit commanders
Yeah.
to make use of
they're
their
also
experience.
they'd also be fairly decent in this terrain because they've dealt with it before, whereas not all the other groups necessarily would
But
be.
they're like 100 gold per day.
They're very
Each.
expensive.
Yeah.
And if you want 10 days, it's 1,000 gold right there.
That's just one for 10 days, though.
Yeah.
The problem is
I have it, like, the thing is, that all the money I have on me wasn't including the money I have left. I still have, like, 1,400 gold. Just...
probably about 500 gold I could spare. It's not a lot, but
We're sort of down to the rats and mice. It's how much we're going to keep aside for food. How much is it going to cost us since it's so fucking expensive up here?
yes.
I was going to say food's easy, but with so many people, it might
It's
be hard
not.
to hunt.
We would never
Yeah.
get close
You'd have to
here.
hunt further south as well.
And the chances of finding anything this close, because
We're
they'll be
going to
doing their
have
own.
to get food sent up.
Yeah.
The kingdom is working on that.
Oh, so is that something we might not have to worry about, or...?
You won't have to worry about feeding anyone, but it's costing the kingdom.
Yeah.
So better to, so we don't have to worry about the food?
You don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
Similarly,
Accommodation.
housing you don't have to worry about because there's a bunch of peasants sitting around doing nothing but trying to rebuild their town.
Yep.
So
Yep.
there'll be places, in at least 5 days, there'll be places up and ready to go.
Okay, so then that's the question. Who else do we want? Do you want to hire those myrmidons, or do you just want to hire...
The dwarves, how much did they say they were going to
No.
No,
cost?
not the dwarves.
No, they're too expensive.
No,
And
they
it's
didn't
gonna
say
be
how
too
much they were
late.
going to cost. But we could get them in 7 days for an extra 250 gold.
Yeah, and now that's just like the thing on top. The dwarves are good,
They are
but
good.
they're kind of pricey.
Yeah.
Especially for a surfacer war that they're not involved in any way and don't care about and
Yeah.
can't be
They're the
convinced.
least effective.
And they have
of
Phil
all these
Iron
groups.
Founderson doing their negotiating.
Yeah. No.
I mean, he has 12 ranks in accountancy and negotiation.
We'd get boned,
You get fucked.
absolutely stuffed. And then we
He
still
also has a
paying...
proficiency I invented called counter barter.
Yeah.
If you have barter, it negates your ability to barter.
So basically it would mean that we'd still be... Sorry, our children's children would be still indebted to the dwarves.
Yep.
If they're lucky.
If you want dwarves running Merland and owning it, that's your option.
I mean, we'll be dead. What do we care?
I mean, you'll win. They'll send a whole army. You'll win, but it will cost you everything.
Yeah.
In the universe,
So,
unless you have a magical staff.
it pays for everything.
I mean, I suppose the other thing is we
Pay
could
for the whole
possibly
war.
get. We could probably get another wizard.
No, not really.
no.
A wizard costs
Yeah.
10,000 gold.
10,000 gold. And I don't think even amongst us scraping that, we couldn't.
Yeah.
I have, what, 1,900 in my bank.
I mean, one level 18 wizard is a big thing to have.
Yeah.
Oh, he's okay. Yeah. If he's level 18, then yeah.
Well,
Okay.
he clearly has access to 9th level spells, and
Have you walked the mountain?
And he clearly knows Malfor's destructive field, so which he blew the top of a mountain off with. So he's level 18. minimum.
How about we just get one wizard? But
do.
see if we can find a bunch of potions to restore spell memory.
Well, Vrathos makes potions here.
Because I know Mother Good just gave us one, so she might have more. Because if we just have one wizard, we have a bunch of potions. He can just range artillery all fucking day. We try to get them made in the same brew, so we can just chug them down.
Well, that's your field.
I imagine it's outrageously expensive.
So the question is, are we going
Still
to?
yeah, they are.
Are we going to go
They're also hard to
strategize this
make
now?
them with rare
We're
ingredients,
just
so
randomly
they got
talking at the
bunch of
moment.
them
Do we want to
in the
go
cards.
talk about it in the tent?
Yeah.
Right. So we'll go and actually, instead of metagaming, we'll. Right.
So, you inviting anyone to your strategy meeting?
Bjorn can come. He might as well come along. Jude's already in there, so.
Ranger will come along, because he knows the Duke's and his own strategy.
If the Duke wants to either come along or send whatever who
The
is
Duke won't
military.
enter the Berman camp, but the
So-
Baron will send someone.
I was going to say, if he's got an advisor, military advisor, or somebody he wants to send, they're free to come along.
Do we have to invite them in?
Somebody
Yes.
who knows this area, area specifically, would be handy.
And if there's someone who, one of the delegates from Zeiss, probably.
Yes.
Can't slide them too.
No, not sliding them. It's just like, do we want to work out this stuff first and then?
Right, no,
Because I know you said the
exercise
temple was up
and-
to that we could get
We
our
do
money
know.
reserves and stuff.
We didn't have to-
That's pretty much
probably
what
want
it's
to
there.
Oh, so they didn't? Did they not have any
Definitely.
interest in joining the
But
fight?
Zeiss had them both
I
there.
mean, obviously there will be some clerics with the Frostwatch soldiers
Yeah.
doing their
I'll
cleric
send the girl to go and ask for a representative from Zeiss as a messenger, and the Burmans as well. I mean, she knows the Burmans already.
Sorry, what?
I'm going to send the girl who's my assistant as a messenger to the Burmans and see if they can get somebody from Zeiss to come as a.
I mean, if we're going this far, we should probably get the leader of the elves and the band of the Red Hand.
Well, no. We first decide.
Yeah, we're deciding
deciding
to
Well,
hide.
what we've done
going to get-
is find out what our current strengths are,
Yeah.
and then we go right. We need to supplement. I know we're going to order these ones, but it's the extra stuff we want to hire. So that's what we're going to discuss anyway.
Gee, what happens when we get all the rings?
Presumably we can do what Frostwalker is doing instead, and we can reset the seasons. I'm not actually sure how. The vision wasn't clear enough.
Scribbles talked about a legend that one person needed to use all 5.
Yes, so we have that legend. Yeah, the dwarves claim that the 5 rings must be melded together into one sort of gauntlet, as it were. The elves believe that sort of a singular family member should don each of them on one hand, the left usually. Humans tell all sorts of stories about powerful mages and
Because even without the 5th one, they're plenty powerful. As we saw just recently in the cave.
Simple.
I think you're underestimating it, Solon. When the wizard starts throwing around lightning that's
Then I
going
can
to...
help you. Yes. Or when our paladin gets struck again.
Wasn't that helpful lightning, though?
Yes, I can make it stronger, more helpful. Saphiro, so what? How do we do this?
We don't know precisely what their army's going to do or when. We just know that they're very close. We need a good varied group of forces to deal with them.
Once we find out what the other contingents,
Yeah.
the other contingents have to offer, you can plan.
Yes. We know We know approximately what they can do. We know the elves are going to be able to be good bowmen. We've got mages, though they are expensive. If we could at least get one, that would be good.
At this point, I would like Lee and Bjorn here to make a Constitution check. Bjorn's down.
That's a fail. That's a bad fail.
By one.
Oh, is it only by one?
Yeah.
Oh well.
Okay. In which case, please roll 3d6.
Four, 3, and 4 for 11.
Right, you are comatose for that many hours.
Oh, good.
What just happened?
Lee?
Thud thud!
Sulan?
Zhu goes to Bjorn and starts checking him over.
This is a side effect of that potion, isn't it, Sulan?
Yes.
Why isn't it happening to you?
I'm trying to. Through physical training, I can.
So you're immune to its effects.
I wouldn't say that.
As far as they know. I just. Well.
Why are we finding fucking random bimmy shields everywhere?
Hey, we don't have any bimmy shields. We just got a bimmy axe.
And bimmy armor.
And bimmy armor.
Bjorn has a bimmy axe.
She's currently using the pillar.
Make sure they're both comfortable and they're not going to swallow their own tongues or something.
That can't happen.
Yeah, that's not. You'd need to bite off the front of your tongue to be able to swallow your own tongue. So too.
I don't know what that was that he drank, but I absolutely recommend never drinking it again. This is doing nasty things to his insides.
It was needed.
That was poison.
He's going to live, right?
Well, he's not getting any worse. Oh, yeah, so you know those bonus hit points you got? You've lost them?
Oh yeah.
And if that's enough to kill you, then you're dead.
Puts me on one.
Didn't you get hit points back for resting?
We didn't rest.
We haven't
You're
rested.
resting
No,
now.
they rested.
You're resting now.
Yeah.
So you get 1 hit point back for rest. Yeah, that's happened. Pray continue.
Yes, anyway, Band of the Red Hand have some forces that may be quite handy, despite Adrian's objections. You fire a bow, they fire like a faster bow that's sideways.
Nomics.
I don't know exactly how it works, but it's somehow faster and it's sideways.
Okay.
Pikemen are
Yes.
fairly standard.
With the big.
Yes.
Yep.
Dwarves are too expensive and they'll take too long to get here.
And the elves, yes, the elf bowmen are definitely worth their weight in
And silver.
silver and gold. Yep. And obviously the mage with the mountain. Yes. That's,
Yes.
When can you do that? Can you train to do that now?
In about 150 years.
That's too long, is it? That's too.
I'm just getting Sulan this. Are you fucking cracking me Yes, Sulan, the battle will be beginning before 150 years.
Then why did
If the dwarves being here in 10 days was going to be too long, then
Great reaction.
now Bowman friends, I've offered to do some night raids.
Yes, that would be helpful.
They could work in conjunction with the elves, since the elves can also see in the dark.
Okay, what forces? Oh, you're deciding on forces now.
We're doing that now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but we also would have
But
got
we're
a representative.
waiting for the representatives to turn up too. We're just discussing until they turn up. So,
Good evening.
Hello. Welcome.
Is it Beldrain?
My name's Ned. Yes, that'll do.
we were just waiting on the others to turn up.
Ringer arrives.
Welcome, Rango.
What happened to Bjorn?
He drank a bit too much.
Sounds like Bjorn.
Something that didn't agree with him, apparently.
Well, I've got the Duke's plan, which is idiocy, and I've got my plan, which has a very good chance of success.
Well, let's ignore the Duke's plan then.
I
No,
haven't even heard it.
we need to hear it because it might have some ideas.
His plan is for everyone to gather around the keep and wait for them to come and attack them from the safety of the walls.
No,
No.
Exactly.
And we're all going to have to work together with the other armies here.
whether the armies would listen to someone, one voice.
Well, the
It's a
Duke.
pity we can't get any of those mercenaries. Those would be handy.
Well, that's what we're
We
discussing.
are going to get at least 2 contingents of the Band of the Red Hand.
And the elves.
Elves. Still not used to thinking of them as the good guys. Pardon your presence.
And one of the mages.
I have good news. I have communed with others of my order. If the king will permit it, 5 high priests of my order, 4 in addition to myself, can be here in 3 days.
That would be much appreciated.
But the
Thank
king
you.
must approve it. We cannot have so many in one kingdom, in one place, without permission of at least one ruling monarch and 2 other religious orders. By ancient convention.
Very well.
The power we could wield is too great.
Well,
And it may damage the land itself if too much is used.
If we don't stop them, there'll be more than just the land here that's damaged.
That is our lord's fear. The land must not be damaged.
we should probably talk to the Duke about sending that message. He'll probably have quicker channels than us.
I will arrange it.
Very well.
Well, so have you decided if you're going to get some? Who are you getting?
Has the representative from Zeiss turned up?
You want one of them?
I did say like twice. I sent away
To
messages to send a
That's going to
representative.
take some time.
Oh, okay.
You want them here?
Well, they're already here.
I know I suggested getting help from the other Frost Watchers, but I did not think that they would be dead men and creatures. Okay, so let's say about 3 hours passes and everyone shows up. Or a representative.
So yeah, we basically decided I think the best idea is some of the elves.
All of the elves.
Yes, the elves. A mage. 2 of the crossbowmen and the pikemen from the Band of the Red Hand.
Okay, so a representative from that group will show up to make sure they're managed correctly. It'll be the same guy.
And
We have Lee's friend, whose
he
name
won't
I did
show
not
up.
catch.
He just punches things.
and
Some of the mercenary
some of the
groups.
mercenary groups.
Right, okay, which will just be part of the front north one. Okay, right, so Rengar will be the first to outline his plan. Let's use our grid here. As we know, there's mysterious forces coming from the north, which is them over there. We'll just say that's the mysterious army.
I'm going to get into the... Yeah.
We don't know coming from here. This can represent the Zirkin forces. These can represent the Burman forces. Band of the Red Hand. Norgarman, 1 army. Elves. Who did you say was left? Oh, the
Mage.
The one mage.
the 1 mage, which
You'll
And
probably
the
be fairly far
mercenaries.
back and just mercenaries.
So, and the Frostwatch army.
Yeah.
There. So that's what you've got. Now, there will actually be 2 groups from Norgard. According to Ranger, one group from Norgard will be led by Helga. And she's really insistent on proving her worth, and she will lead the bulk of our forces. Meanwhile, some of our hardier men in the hunting party, about 6 of them, they'll be with Brolus as a separate group of harassers. Our fastest and lightest travelers, and Brolus. My plan is that the army is not likely to be a single packed mass. Rather, we move 2 days travel ahead, at the edge of the forest to the north. That's where the Frostwatch forces should be. Your harassing band of the Hand should be out on a flank, ready to move in.
Send one squad of elves with them.
Thank you. This is the sorry, that looks red there for me. It's purple. This is actually
That was his ice.
Oh,
yeah.
That was
This is-
ice.
Yeah. This
is Germany.
Germany.
So they just go.
These
back
guys will operate
independent.
independently and only at night for reasons. Forces of Zeiss will march hard and head up to the right flank. It will send our group with the Band of the Hand and the elves with Brolus to provide long-range support for their moving in and out.
Both platoons or just one?
Both. And they will head here to the front lines as well. This mage, he is good.
Very good.
You see that mountain?
No?
Exactly.
Used to be one.
Then I will put him with the main army. The idea is these 2 flanking groups attack and corral whichever sides try to maneuver around, limiting their ability to do that. This group up here, the undeads, will attack from the side once the main army is engaged. That is my idea for a plan. Who has a better one?
What's the terrain like in
Band
the
of
area?
the Band of the Hand guy says, we don't really need support. We work best alone, and we don't want to be slowed down by clunky primitives with your axes and such. We'd be better as a harassment force. We can probably manage to get around to the sides or even at the rear and get their range.
How about we do this then?
If we do that, we're not exactly taking full use of the Zeiss unit's ability to march all day.
And all night. The Zircon representative just does this.
So it puts them back.
Brains.
I look to the Burman representative because they've now been lumped in together.
Wouldn't work.
Your Norgard men are not going to want to work with whatever can only work at night.
They won't work at night, so they'll be better with the main
I'm
force.
thinking perhaps more that harassment can happen day and night from the same camp. Nighttime like this. Then on the day, the Burmans keep pressure. Constant pressure, yes? Brains. It's like they're clearly being manipulated from elsewhere.
Where would the Frostwalker be in the army?
He's most likely
We
going to be at
have.
the back.
And I hear tell there's a dragon in the mix. We're not being paid to fight dragons.
It's currently the dragon has turned against them. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to stay that way, because they... Well, I don't know if you'll turn...
If
We
can-
might be able to
if
convince
we have
the
an artifact
dragon.
that he wants, then he'll do something for us.
Yes.
We've got something. It's on its way. But it might just be enough to keep it out if it's already destroyed part of the army.
If it's to
Sure.
keep it out of the battle, then
Where would your priestesses or priests most be useful?
With the center of the army ready to unleash
How?
whatever may be necessary to do. I mean, I try to avoid it, but there is a spell only 5 of us can weave together.
but I'm guessing that would destroy the lane too.
It would be damaging, but highly destructive, but it would, I would think, guarantee victory, assuming he doesn't still have control over the elements.
Which, if our mission goes according to plan, he won't.
Actually, if our mission is to be going according to plan, we won't be at this battle at all.
Because we need to be.
Well, if we're fast enough, yes, we won't have to begin, but...
Because we're going to have to kill Frostwalker before it begins. And by we, I mean our sleeping friend has to kill him.
Why does it have to be him?
Because he's the one who did it in the vision. He had a...
Dragonbone dagger.
He has mentioned it.
Interesting.
And also the Oracle said that he would have to kill him with a Dragonbone dagger. Which, by the way, do we have yet?
If he wasn't sleeping, you could be working on it.
So you got half the tools.
We need to talk to a proper smith.
I don't know if this is good or not. All I know is
I know it's of middling effectiveness because I wanted you guys to do the work.
So yeah, what's the actual
Yeah.
terrain here? Because so far we're just
The
looking
terrain
at... Yeah.
is simple. With those rings, it's whatever we want it to be. Wait. What if we're busy restoring the... We can't rely on that.
we could pre-build the landscape.
In which case I would suggest a natural funneling.
If we do that before we leave, at least give them a chance.
There aren't any frozen lakes or anything around here, are there?
It's frozen everything around here.
I can make anything frozen that isn't.
No, yeah, I once read in a book that a good strategy was when an army didn't know there was a frozen lake, to cover up the fact that it was a frozen lake. And
Could
You're referring to
you?
the battle on the ice.
Yes, could you make an area liquid underneath, thin ice on top, but seem thick?
I could try.
and also hide the fact that it's ice at all,
Yeah.
cover it in snow completely, like
Well,
it's like
Lee could use a Kagaru to cover the lake I create with snow.
With enough water underneath, it wouldn't freeze that quickly. I don't know.
We could salt the water.
Yeah.
It would slow the freezing.
we just have to lure them onto it.
Sounds like a job for a harassment group.
We just need to make sure there's a good area we can do that between us and the army.
We have reason to believe that the army wouldn't be one packed mass. Frost giants, goblins, icemen, etc. do not naturally work together. Maybe they would be separate elements, perhaps.
It depends how much influence the Frostwalker has over each group.
And it also depends if the Frostworker's managed to free himself from his icy tomb. I mean... nothing.
Icy tomb. I thought he was already out manipulating.
Manipulating, certainly, yes.
But we've already... Sulan saw him. Sulan fought him.
Look at the time, I have to go.
What?
Frostwalker isn't an elf. He's just using that body.
Which is why there was 2 at the top. No. Ah. That explains everything.
Frostwalker, that body has...
So the one I fought on the wall was different to the one that I saw in the tent.
You did say they'd aged.
Unless the
That
talking
time.
to him ages him that drastically. And the thing that he was talking to was the Frostwalker through.
It suddenly makes sense. You see, he must possess the heart of winter. Which means he's aging because he's using it. Frostwalker will be free very soon if we don't act.
What is he?
A Draco Lich. An ancient and powerful Lich Dragon. You see why we don't want him free?
Yes, well...
So killing the Frostwalker that we know isn't
We'll
going to
eliminate
solve...
the Heart of Winter and allow these to be the only force. Then we then reset the seasons and he'll stay imprisoned, yes?
Yes. We need to do this now.
Fortunately, I checked the calendars and the time we spent in Winterhome has somehow made it 2 days ago.
So we've got more time than we thought.
Well, right now, you are all probably talking to a dragon.
We're in 2 places at once.
Don't ask me how.
It's probably Wajibu.
What do you mean?
And we've got 2 extra days to find the last ring.
Fortunately, you can
But-
just walk right down the stairs.
But there's an army coming down those stairs.
At this
After
very
us.
moment, yes.
Well, it is going to take you 2 days to get there. So you should arrive a day after the army has been defeated.
Well, we also need somebody who's going to be able to be basically the field commander of this whole operation.
If you ask the Duke, that's him.
The Duke
You
is
ask-
too young and
If you ask
inexperienced.
about him, that's him.
We need somebody that all the groups are going to respect and listen
Even
to.
Throgdeer thinks it's him. Don't look at me. I don't want the job.
Because all it takes is one thing to go wrong, and this whole plan could be for naught. I mean, I have no doubt that everybody's going to listen to what their commanding officer does in their own groups, but we need somebody who can basically be the glue that holds this whole thing together and command the whole army.
You would need someone that everyone could look up to.
Yes.
A recognized commander.
Yes.
And one that could be here in 3-4 days. There isn't anyone. Perhaps if Duke Roman was still alive, and trustworthy, and not a complete tool, and working for Frostwalker,
And hadn't tried to kill us 3 times, 4 times already.
and that,
And want us dead twice.
And covered Saphira's sword to the point where he let us push him off a cliff. I mean, you started talking about like we need a commander that's like everyone looks up to, and I just like looked at Ken the whole time.
I would have suggested it too, but we're not here.
Yeah, that's a problem.
and also he will be busy at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can't be me because I'm going to be leading you guys off to get the spinal
Oh, you're
part.
going to be with us. I wouldn't say leading.
Now
Would
this
you
is
say
not
leading?
Paradox.
Yeah, we could if we could ask Wajibu, we might be able to get out another 2 days. Or
No way you insist it's Wajibu. Well, that's not a natural thing to lead, conclusion to lead.
oh, fair enough.
I don't know anything else. So.
Well, I have this lamp.
Why do we have a fixation on robbing lambs?
Because it's worked out for us 50% of the time.
That first time boned us so badly.
Well, that
Well up, didn't you?
Half worked.
yeah, that was Mara's fault for keeping the dagger.
And keeping us suspended for 2 days, wasn't it?
Oh, you can't blame anyone for that. Except the genie.
And you want to trust another genie.
I didn't say trust. Besides, this plan is all well and good, but it requires us to leave immediately, and none of us are in any state to.
Well, some of us can.
I was hoping to at least get one night to rest up and
Well, we'll need to.
recuperate.
You just have to rest. So who is going to be the leader? Many bands will cause problems if you don't have one wise one.
They won't follow the boy.
Why not Yolgrid?
If they defer to his strength, then yeah.
I mean, he does know this area better than anybody.
Baron, would you have any issues with it? Would the Baron have any issues with him?
With
Yolgrid
Yolgrid?
of the Norgar.
Strong and won many battles.
Experience is what counts.
Mm.
In this area, to be better than the bumpers and the little Duke boy.
Because I'm not even sure he's used to leading such a varied force of so many.
Have you not seen his forces? That are
Yes,
very
but-
varied. I think he could do it. It's just
Perhaps.
his forces on a greater scale.
Communication between all groups will be key as well.
We might have to set aside some of the Frostwatch men
For
to run
runners.
as messengers.
Fastest horses.
No horses.
There is no horses here at all.
There's very few.
Or we could use elves.
Elves would be quicker.
Would we have to hire more just messengers?
We could break a couple off the platoons, but
Not with their effectiveness. I'll look to the elf. Would you be able to supply some runners?
We have only what is in the area.
No, that's understandable.
There aren't
We
any.
are not entirely pleased about this land damaging plan to use 5
No, that's
high priests.
that's a last
that's the last resort.
resort.
That is some last resort.
Well, if
either-
we fail here, we fail.
Exactly. It's either damage a small area of land here or watch the entire world fall into
Ice.
the hands of these, become ice, essentially, yes.
I lament that I live to see such times.
Because otherwise the glaciers will spread further south.
But if we succeed in our
There will be no elven forests.
objective, this shouldn't arise.
And you won't be here for this battle.
We may, but
Ideally, we'll be killing the Frostwalker before the battle even begins.
The army will still march south. That much of them together, even without Frostwalker, they would still attack.
for what cause?
That's what they do.
Once we get the 5 rings, we can devastate the entire army from any direction.
If they have no leader, they'll lack coordination.
Then it should be easier.
Indeed.
And your crappy plan there will work.
It was all your plans.
Yeah, and I decided on something middlingly effective, hoping that you guys would,
Come up with another
Well,
one.
we haven't got any, we asked about terrain and we don't have any info,
No,
so it's
okay.
we can create the terrain.
But yeah, because you can basically
We-
sculpt the terrain to your
we can
want.
create the-
Basically, just like hills of ice and snow, with a forest to your back and right.
So the thing is, if you wanted to, you could bring funnel them all towards here. Have your archers? Yeah, I'm not suggesting this. I'm suggesting it out of character. Okay, funnel them in. Have your archers on the sides, obviously.
The problem is that their army is too big and not grouped up enough that we can
that's
successfully
right.
funnel them in.
But you could funnel if you funnel groups in, and then move to the next area backwards and keep on.
It would be easier to plan if we knew what flank or where in the army each group would be.
We might have something on that. Because we could... You said something was on the way for the dragon? We might be able to trade for that information if he's been circling them for days.
Well, he apparently also destroyed, it was an entire right flank of the troops or something.
Interesting. Very interesting. Now you'll say they don't get along normally.
No, well, they're normally, I suppose, I wouldn't say enemies, but they normally don't work together. They've kind of been forced into it for this war.
Has anyone seen it yet? Has anyone seen it?
See.
Oh, here we go. So the zombie just leans back. It's like, you could use the undead forces I've provided to sow dissension in their ranks.
You can actually...
Out of armor, one skeleton looks like another.
So you could infiltrate them from the inside and put doubts amongst them?
Suddenly, a group of undead attack a frost giant. It looks like betrayal.
Of course.
And then Frostwalker's army will have his own horrors to deal with.
Indeed. You could even make it look like the goblins were the ones responsible.
The zombie looks at you.
So,
Oh, you're awake.
what has...
Oh, what
Happened.
happened to Bjorn?
Actually, what is your friend best at when it comes to this, Lee?
Why you playing with toys? What you do? What you do now? You not put on this earth to look at little toys.
Go away. A voice. I hear a voice in my head. No.
Hang on a minute. So I start writing down.
Okay.
That basically, there's an army in the north that the Frostwalker is leading. And so we need to fight the army in order to get to him. So we're currently planning how to fight the army.
Okay.
But we could always use more men.
Oh, I see.
And then I get the piece of paper.
Hold paper up of the way! No! No, they want more men. No, only you just go kill. You just easy. Just stab. Then you come back and prophecy fulfill.
No, I go kill. No, help. I hope they don't help. Frostwalker.
Is that really a possibility?
You never know, he's a bad guy.
No help. I can't hear you. I break rule. Sorry. Sorry. I'm being a shit tonight.
Is plan? This Frost Walker army?
So we'll outline the plan to Lee. So I'm not going to describe it.
Okay.
Bad.
Put the Autobot in circle.
Army go here. Kill.
That's how they do it where he's from.
The Johnny Gat method.
Yeah, this is a fantastic little doll's house you created here.
If lots army sneak. If not many, just kill. Easy. Bad plan. Too
Complicated.
Thank you for that input, Lee. So what does your friend do?
I think maybe it's just best to ask his friend personal.
He kill. Stab, kill, whatever he want. He's good.
Does he work well with others?
Is sometime.
How about we just go ask him?
Is good with like me. Not
He fights people with his fists.
If he's that good, he could go with the Norgar force here that harasses during the day.
Is he going to have problem with hanging around with the
Romanians?
Oh yes, the Burmanians, yes. Is he going to have a problem with them?
You'd have to ask him, Zafiro. I know him about as well as you do.
No, is okay. Yeah, just people. Don't be so racist, Zafiro.
You fucking chink.
So do we want to still try and lure them onto a false lake?
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard to set up beforehand.
Okay, we need some way of funneling them into it as well. Can we manipulate the land in order to funnel them that way?
Okay. How were you planning on driving them?
That's actually because I was wanting the Zeiss ones to go around behind as opposed to descent, because at least then they could.
That's still an option. I just threw that out there as
that's
an option.
Yeah. Just saying in character,
Can Ray's ring make it snow harder than it is already?
If there is snow, it can intensify the snow.
our problem is we're not there. So that'd be ideal.
The thing is, everything we do with the rings has to be set up beforehand.
Yep. So driving snow would be brilliant while we're there.
No, I was just thinking, because I could use the wind to make the snow fall in a wall sort of pattern, and if he makes it snow enough, and then it wouldn't disappear because it's just snow.
Presuming you're there.
Yeah.
See, with his one, he can make the walls, and because if he scoops the snow that's already there, It's not actually dissipating at
That's
all.
what I mean. If he can make it snow more.
Yeah, but again, making snow more will dissipate because you're making it. If we're using what's there, it's not.
I can just use my wind.
That's right, and use your wind to compact.
Yeah, I'll do it then.
Anything if you're using the existing terrain.
So you use a cup of water to make a barrier. It's not going to last. Whereas if you use
what's already there to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's going to stay. It's going
it's
to
going to stay there. So that's
because all you're doing is shaping what's there. You're not creating anything. So
yeah.
Ideally, we want to shape what's there for as much as possible.
That's right.
Well, I mean, we want to set this up. Obviously, there's going to be some area that you said there's a forest to the side and to the back. So I'm guessing this is like
to the right hand side. Well, we're assuming Ray's looking up hill, as it were. The forest sort of like is a bit behind you, and it sort of goes up to the right. So it's like, well, if that's correct, then if the army holds ground and waits for them to engage, when they're both engaged, there will be a forest to the right of that army.
The other thing is we could turn the forest into basically a swamp, and the elves would still have the advantage with the trees.
Well, I was actually wondering, do we want to have the elves in the forest if it's close enough to the? Because they could just straight up surprise them with arrow volleys from the forest.
If we could actually drive the entire army into the forest, then I could just boom, fire, burn the whole thing down with the minute. I mean, ice things don't like fire. Says Seraphine.
No, I could make giant snowdrifts that drove them into the forest, so they got nowhere else to go.
This still requires us to be there, though.
Yeah.
And
I could
if
go
we are
do it
late
now.
getting back, or
Everything will fall apart.
We need the plan to work without us there. If we're there, it's a nice bonus.
So what we could do is you've got this force and this force. This one here is mingling, but it also is swinging around to the back. These guys here are good for flicking around the side and coming around the back, which will then drive everything forward onto our traps. These forces are here with these ones harassing them and dragging them to distract them from these guys coming around behind. Once these guys get to our trap, they'll either fall in, stop because it's now a barrier. These guys here will fall in. These guys there will then swing around and trap them.
you want to leave them an avenue to escape.
Yes,
Directly over
the
the
forest.
that's where the forest comes
You
in.
leave the avenue be the forest, and then if they flee into that, that's when we.
If you trap them completely, with their backs up against nothing, they may fight too hard.
Yep. So you
If
got
they can escape, then we win anyway. They flee, they are broken. If Frostwalker is not there, they will not rejoin.
So then don't come all the way around the back. Attack from the flanks, leaving them the centre to retreat on.
And let them flee if they try.
Yeah.
A broken, disorganized group, not willing to work together again, because look how badly it worked the first time.
And then if anything's... We've got our
Perhaps during the
harassers.
fleeing, the undead could then sow dissension in the ranks and truly break up the core of the army.
Yeah.
See,
Can
that's
you absorb the
considerably smarter than the plan I laid out.
Can you absorb their undead into your ranks in any way? I say talking to the.
That hadn't occurred.
Can you do that? Because then we would have an increased army that, and you would consider it as payment to take some forces back away with you.
I like the idea of bolstering my troops, but ours is a volunteer army.
Is it as possible though? You could attempt it.
We can try.
So that means we've got to go out there and now create your
Ice Lake.
ice lake.
This trap, yes.
I'll get the Duke's men prepared and drilling. The forces from Noga will be here within a few days.
If we can get this dug and filled and covered.
And it's conveniently on the way to Winterhome, where you will need to go. And once you're done there, you'll have to immediately seek out and take on
Frostwalker. Take Bjorn with you.
Are you coming with us?
No.
Then how will we know the words to speak within your ring?
If it is the ring I suspect, I will teach them to you ahead of time. If it isn't, then the legends are all wrong, and we're fucked.
They've been right 3/4 of the time.
Besides which, there's only one person the final ring can be for, isn't there?
I can't wait to.
Must be for me. Be not even a paladin.
Well, we should get going.
Not even any time to rest up.
Plenty of time for that when you're dead.
Won't be too far away, probably.
You want I make snow hill round here for troop by a lake.
To hide our troops behind.
That's not half bad.
No, that's what you.
Yeah.
These ones on the sides.
Snow.
We make the lake and then have a bunch of hills and stuff that hide all the troops.
Yeah.
Or even just sheer cliffs that they look like hills from their side, but then they're just a flat and we've got our troops behind them on the other.
I can shape is how to walk army out snow.
Don't you need to work on your daggers first? They're more important, aren't they?
I need more tool.
Then we should get more tools. Because all this playing is null and void if you can't use your daggers.
What do you guys want to do with your knight then?
Well, I'm assuming 11
I wanted
hours
to have a
being
chat with
coma,
you
did
anyway.
that heal me at all? Did 11 hours of being comatose heal me at all?
Yeah, you get 1 point. 2 if he was looking after you. 3 if you have fast healer.
So, I'm on 2 hit points.
I'm assuming that you will get our spells back tomorrow and heal us all.
Yeah. I mean, that's what will happen.
Yeah.
Well, I'll also use mine because we're going to be travelling for a couple of days as well, aren't we? So,
Yeah.
so I get them back after the first day of travel.
2 days travel.
So I just memorise 4 lots of healing.
Okay, so basically you just got a bunch of free time to take care of like stuff you want to take care of and or talk about now. And when you're done with all that,
Don't worry, loves. Cavalry's here.